Hello everyone, welcome back. You know that moment when everything you believed suddenly starts to crack? Yeah, this is one of those moments. The tension inside that cafe wasn't just in the air, it was suffocating. From the second Chelsea stepped in, something felt off like every whisper had a secret buried inside it. And then she saw Willow sitting there frozen, gripping a cold cup of coffee like it was the only thing holding her together. That alone said everything. Willow doesn't panic easily, but today was different. What followed wasn't just a conversation, it was a warning. A revelation that flipped everything Chelsea thought she knew about Madison completely upside down. Because, according to Willow, Madison wasn't just hiding something small. She might be connected to everything that's gone wrong in the past 6 months. The break ins, the missing files, even the fire, and just like that, the ground beneath Chelsea's feet gone. The cafe smelled faintly of burnt espresso and something sweet, maybe vanilla syrup, but it did nothing to soften the heaviness hanging in the air. The low hum of conversations, the clinking of cups, the slow spin of the ceiling fan overhead, it all felt distant, muted, like Chelsea had stepped into a different world the moment she saw Willow. Willow's hands were wrapped so tightly around that coffee cup, her knuckles had gone pale. The drink itself had long gone cold, untouched, forgotten. Her eyes weren't focused on anything in the room. They were somewhere else entirely, replaying something over and over again. And that's what scared Chelsea the most. When Chelsea sat down, she tried to keep things light, but even she could hear the tension in her own voice, the kind of forced casual tone people use when they already know something is wrong. But Willow didn't respond right away. And that silence, it stretched too long, long enough to make Chelsea's chest tighten. When Willow finally spoke, her voice wasn't dramatic, it was careful, controlled, and somehow that made it worse. Because this wasn't gossip, this wasn't speculation, this felt real. The moment Madison's name came up, Chelsea's entire posture shifted. Confusion first, then irritation because let's be honest, she's not who you think she is. It's the kind of vague, dramatic line that usually leads nowhere, but Willow wasn't playing around. You could see it in her eyes. No exaggeration, no theatrics, just fear. And then the details started coming out. 6 months ago, that's when everything started unraveling. The break ins, the missing files, the fire, at first, it sounded like a stretch. Chelsea tried to hold on to logic, to push back to ground the conversation in something rational, but Willow kept going piece by piece, laying it all out documents, financial transfers, fake names. You could almost hear Chelsea's heartbeat picking up as the pieces started forming a picture she didn't want to see. And then came the location, the same one tied to the fire. That's when the air between them changed completely. It wasn't just tension anymore, it was fear, the kind that settles deep in your stomach and refuses to leave. Chelsea tried to fight it, she really did. She clung to the idea that there had to be another explanation, a coincidence, a misunderstanding, because the alternative it didn't just question Madison's actions, it questioned everything Chelsea believed about her. But Willow wasn't done. The messages, encrypted, timed, intentional, not just awareness, but involvement. That's when the doubt started creeping in. Slow and uncomfortable. You could see it in Chelsea's face. The shift from denial to uncertainty because suddenly it wasn't just about what Madison might have done. It was about what she might still be doing. And then came the question that changed everything. Why tell Chelsea? The answer hit harder than anything else. Because this wasn't just about Madison anymore. It was about Chelsea being caught in the fallout, being too close, too involved, too vulnerable. And that's the moment everything became personal. Chelsea's pacing said it all, the sharp, restless movements, the way she couldn't sit still anymore. Her mind was racing, trying to piece together something that made sense. But nothing did. Was Madison guilty, careless, or being set up? That last possibility hung in the air like a lifeline. Because if Madison was being framed, then everything changed again. But Willow's hesitation, that pause, it said she didn't fully believe that. Still, Chelsea couldn't ignore it. Because if there was even a chance Madison was innocent, she had to know. The walk to Madison's place wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Every step heavier than the last, Willow's words echoing louder with each passing second. She's not who you think she is. By the time Chelsea reached the door, her emotions were tangled beyond recognition anger, fear, confusion, all of it crashing together. The knocking, sharp, urgent, almost desperate, and when there was no answer, it only made things worse. That brief moment of silence before the door opened, it felt endless. And then Madison, calm, composed, almost too composed. That immediate shift in her eyes when she saw Chelsea, subtle but undeniable, like she already knew something was wrong. Inside the apartment, the air felt cooler, quieter. The outside world shut out completely. And just like that, it was just the two of them and the truth waiting to surface. Chelsea didn't hesitate. 6 months ago, the question landed hard, and Madison's reaction, minimal but telling, that slight shift in posture, that tiny pause, it was enough. Then came the tension, the challenge, the silence between each word stretching just long enough to make everything feel heavier. And then Madison said it. Yes, not denial, not deflection, just yes. That moment, it shattered everything. Because sometimes the truth isn't loud or explosive, sometimes it's quite simple, and that's what makes it devastating. Chelsea stepping back wasn't just physical, it was emotional distance forming in real time. The realization that whatever came next, nothing would be the same again. This moment is a turning point. Trust, once broken, doesn't just snap back into place, it fractures everything around it. Chelsea is now standing in the middle of two possibilities, both equally dangerous. Either Madison is deeply involved in something far bigger than anyone imagined, or she's been carefully set up and someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. The consequences here are massive. If Chelsea confronts this head on, she risks pushing Madison into defensive mode, or worse, confirming everything Willow fears, but if she hesitates, she could be walking straight into something she doesn't fully understand. And let's not ignore Willow's warning. What if this is exactly what Madison wants? That idea alone changes the entire game. I can't believe she did that. Honestly, I'm torn. Part of me thinks Madison is hiding something huge, but another part of me feels like this is way too obvious. Like someone wants Chelsea to find this trail, and if that's true, then Chelsea walking straight into this confrontation might be exactly what the real mastermind was counting on. So now I have to ask you, do you think Madison is guilty or is she being set up? And more importantly, did Chelsea just make the biggest mistake of her life by confronting her directly? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you are enjoying this kind of deep dive storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.